if we could address you directly right now?
Everything comes full circle.
That's number one.
I don't tell him what questions to ask me.
There are a lot of people around town that have the same question.
Brush my teeth. I'm gonna get washed in the morning.
I can't confirm or deny.
You know, just keep going a little bit longer here, Mike. Keep going a little bit longer.
ESPN Radio.
You know what I love, Steve? Being a jerk.
Listen, dude, we've been doing a show for 90 minutes.
I had a chance to listen to the last call. We game plan for PJ Hall.
Uncle.
I have a list of guys I would never hang out with. Your name is right on the top.
Do you like the worst song bracket we're doing?
It's considerably better than the supplement bracket. Let's start with that.
I won a limo contest.
Oh, my God.
Fran Brown joining us.
These guys are working their butts off. They expect to see their fans.
You want extra money just because you're North Carolina? I'm in all right
What
now.
an honor for you and Jordan to be next to me.
Every day.
This is Orange Nation.
There's music, there's fun, there's us. It's everything you could want all in one place.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte. We welcome you into a Tuesday edition of Orange Nation. We got a few guests lined up for you on the show today. David Shoemate, voice of the Duke Blue Devils, will be on with us at 12:15 as we start previewing tomorrow's game against the second-ranked Blue Devils. Sam English, midfielder on the SU men's lacrosse squad, will join us at 12:30. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. What's up, Paulie?
Not much, Steve. How you doing?
I am doing well. Voice is like 95%. It's knock on wood. It's almost
You
back.
have a voice percentage meter?
I'm giving it to you even though you didn't ask for it. Yes.
No, I wanted to know.
Oh, no.
I'm glad that you're working at 95%.
I feel like I feel like my voice is almost
man.
back. It's only been 2 weeks or a week and a half, whatever it's
You
been.
sound great.
Thank
You sound like $1 million.
Thank you.
Your voice should be heard, Steve.
Yours as well. And I know that
Everybody's voices should be heard.
you want your voice to be heard about something today.
Yeah. Something happened on Twitter yesterday. And I say it all the time. I'm not saying you can't be angry and you can't tweet mean things. You know what? You can say what you want about Coach Autry. Go ahead. He's an adult. He's making a lot of money. Go ahead and say it. It's when you say things that are like about players, like at least have, you know how there's the famous quote of Jim Calhoun, "Come back to me when you got the facts."
Yeah.
You know, like be factual if you're going to be a jerk, if you're going to be an idiot about what you say on.
Or be logical, too. I mean.
Yeah. So what happened yesterday is the discussion of on Q Sports Talks social media came up of who do you want back and what players would you like back? And Donnie Freeman's name came up. And somebody on our social media posted, why would you want him back? He quit on this team, implying what? That he's faking in the injury? Like he's selling it so hard that he's wearing a boot every day, everywhere he goes, just so he doesn't have to play again this year? And like doctors are evaluating him for fun? Like he's paid the doctors to evaluate him? Like, just don't say stuff like that because you know what? Syracuse is a small town. And people see that on social media. And that was clearly seen by him and his family. And like, it's just a stupid take. I'm not saying you can't be mad. You can't have apathy. You can't be angry. Can't say, hey, Donnie Freeman should probably rebound a little better. I wish he could defend better. That's fine. The defense one might even be factual. But to say he quit and is faking being hurt, dear Lord, that is dumb.
It is dumb. Yes, it is dumb.
Like, I don't get it. Like, what would possess somebody to think that? I mean, things like that cross everybody's mind. You just don't say them out loud.
Well, he's only been out for a month, right? I mean, and we don't know the severity of the injury. We could speculate. I've heard some things about what I believe the injury is, but he's not faking. He's not faking.
Yeah, and if he is, he deserves an Oscar. Like, he's wearing a boot to class. Why on earth would he do that?
Right. Now, if it's the type of thing where he's healthy enough to play, he's out of the boot, he's practicing again, but he says, you know what, collectively we've decided to shut it down for, my personal interests or whatever, again, his prerogative, but you could have a discussion about that. But this is completely different. The young man is hurt and he can't play. And, it's an injury that obviously there's been some question about since it happened. Remember when JJ got hurt, they said immediately a time frame. They kind of knew roughly how long it was going to be. They didn't know with this one. And, I think the day-to-day, week-to-week, I do tend to believe Red when he says that they just simply didn't know how long it was going to go. I know for a fact
he's been getting evaluated.
Yes, I do. I know that as well. Right. And to your point, if he truly wasn't hurt.
Is he paying the doctor to evaluate him for no reason?
Right. That makes no sense. No sense at all.
Dilemma Q says he has handlers advising him, and it's called window dressing. No, I don't think that they would be like doctors would be evaluating his health.
Right. I mean,
is there even just 1% of the population that think that he's just wearing the boot for the fun of it?
That's what I was going to say, is that you could easily, he could be out of the boot and you could easily say that, well, he's going to have off-season surgery or, he's not able to compete. We're shutting him down for this year. There's only 9 games left. I mean, you could say anything publicly. He wouldn't be walking around in a boot if he wasn't hurt.
Yeah, and even then, it would get to the point where, hey, I'm shutting it down for this year because I'm worried about my future.
Yeah. And I would understand that.
Yes,
I mean, people could be upset about it, but
yes.
you have to understand.
Yeah, it happens in college football all the time.
Right.
It's just weird to me. But I don't want you to not post on social media your feelings. I just, just be smart. And I'm the dumbest guy on earth, and I know that's dumb.
Yeah, and I don't say dumb often on this show, but that is dumb.
But if he is faking, man, oh man.
He's doing a great job.
He's wearing a boot.
He's got us all fooled.
Yeah. I might pretend. Steve's been pretending his throat's hurt, his voice is gone after every big loss this year.
Right. Yeah. It's funny that I know our listeners, and I actually said that over the weekend. I was like, this isn't going to be a good look. This isn't going to be a good look. But, you got to do what you got to do. And, yeah, he's obviously hurt. He can't play. And
social media is about gossip, Florida guy says. Yeah, okay, that's funny. That's fine. But gossip about things that, seem legit, like Donnie Freeman's going to Kentucky next year, or he's going pro, or he's coming back, or he's going to Georgetown. That's gossip. Saying he quit on the team.
Remember Judah Mintz was going to Georgetown?
Yeah, that was cool. I never once complained about that.
That was definitely happening, right?
Yeah,
according to sources.
Yeah, that gave me
on social media.
That's fun to talk about.
Yeah. Is it?
It's like a trade rumor. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay.
I like that one. That fake news is fine. But when you're accusing people of quitting and faking injuries.
Yeah.
But, all right. What if you think that you have more than your own right to that opinion?
And again, I know we didn't play the soundbite yesterday. We played it on News Channel 9 last night. Adrian Autry did address it. He was asked about it on the weekly ACC teleconference about Donnie, and he said they're hoping to know something within this next week. That there's only 9 games left. They have to make a decision one way or the other here pretty soon, whether or not he's coming back, and they hope to have that answer and that decision made within the next week. So we can ask him again on Thursday, and I don't know if it'll have changed by then, but we'll see.
Let's just say his team isn't rushing him back to play for this team, if you know what I mean. Okay. Well, I don't understand what you mean. Are you implying he's faking, or the team doesn't want him? The team is faking? What? I mean, come on, guys. maybe he'll be back next year, guys. You never know. I tend to think he will. I tend to think he likes it here. It's going to be hard to go to the NBA coming off of an injury.
I mean, Chris McCullough did it. He went in the first round. So, and he played about he played about the same amount of games.
I don't think Donnie's at that level. It'd be a risk.
Chris McCullough didn't do anything when he was here, really. I mean,
it was a different time back then. They weren't taking people from France,
from overseas, right? It is different. The pool is, watered down to some degree with a lot of foreign players, as you said. But if you remember, Chris McCullough played about the same amount of games that Donnie did, and you remember that famous quote from Jim Boeheim: "We want to get him playing bad. Bad would be an improvement." I mean, he wasn't playing great, and then he went down with a torn ACL, and we didn't see him again.
Okay, people say, for what it's worth, but hardly anybody on SyracuseFan.com thinks, I don't think he's coming back this year to play, but I tend to think that if he's in college, I would assume Syracuse is doing everything they can to keep him. I would say he's priority number 2 or 1 for next year for Syracuse.
Well, I would agree with that. In terms of whether or not he's going to play this year, I think we've been on the same page for a few weeks now that we don't think he's coming back. But that's not for any other reason other than he's not going to be healthy enough to play. And I think
this season,
I think the team didn't announce it because they're holding out hope that he could come back, and they truly didn't know a timeline. And it's getting to a point now where Red's right. You do have to make a decision one way or the other. You've only got a month left of the regular season. 9 games left, 8 after tomorrow night. What are you going to do? Got to make a decision. So
yeah, and you never know. Like everybody's saying, I wouldn't rush to get back. Maybe he wants to play in the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to still showcase. Like I just said, I don't think he's showcased himself enough to go to the NBA next year. Maybe he wants to. You don't know. You got to make the ACC tournament first, though, right? I'm just stealing the thunder of the negativity out there.
Yeah, Virginia didn't help matters last night, but there's still 3 teams that have
the bottom is rising up,
2 or fewer wins. So I mean, they're still safe at the moment. They've got 4 wins. Their closest pursuers have 2, so they still got a little bit of a cushion, but.
And they got those games in there. They still have to play Virginia and Miami,
right,
and all those teams. So it's
it makes you nervous though a little bit.
I'm not nervous.
Okay, I'm not nervous either. I think they're going to be fine making the ACC tournament, but the teams at the bottom are playing better at the moment than you would like. Virginia winning last night, impressive performance. That's we talk about Virginia winning that game. How about Pittsburgh that felt like a bubble team, and that is a devastating loss for Pittsburgh in their resume. Losing at home by 16 to that team, man, that's pushed them off the bubble for the moment.
Yeah, but I think that happens to everybody once a year, except for like the elite teams. You get slapped once or twice in a season. Every team, if you're not Duke or one of the top 25 teams in the country.
Yeah, I looked it up yesterday, as a matter of fact. 8 teams in the history of the ACC conference have gone through it undefeated. Duke's done it twice. It hasn't happened by anybody since 1999.
You seem proud of that.
No, I'm just throwing out the stat for you.
You seem very happy that Duke has done it twice for the ACC. Duke! 2-time undefeated champs. The Dukies. Okay, go ahead.
Both those times they went to the Final Four. But obviously 20-0 has never been done because it hasn't been done in 25 years, 26 years.
Steve has big cojones to call Virginia that team, given our resume. I think if Syracuse slapped him around too, he probably would have said,
right.
To get beat by this team, yeah, guys, settle down. Why is everybody coming after everybody? Love each other.
Yeah, Syracuse would qualify in that category too. To lose at home by 16 to a team that's in the bottom tier, that's a tough one to swallow. That's going to be a tough one to get over. And that was the good thing about Pitt's resume. They really didn't have any bad losses, and now obviously they can't say that. So that's one that may come back to bite them on Selection Sunday. Let's take a time out here. We're going to get to our first guest on the other side. David Shoemate, the voice of the Duke Blue Devils, joins us on the other side. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Thursday, the Orange women head to Blacksburg to face Virginia Tech. Pre-game at 5:45, tip-off at 6.
Right into Barishow for a layup. Good.
Like, even if they do just hang with Duke for 3 minutes, is it fun to just say that out loud? Like, you're not going to watch just to... Don't watch then. You can have expectations. I've said that. Just you guys are, you just don't get like you're not fun people. You're not fun people. I actually think some of you are fun, but some of you are a-holes. We'll ask the doctors if they've ever just played along with someone faking an injury on the call in tomorrow. The house call. All right? CJC, please. I'm not even going to entertain that. I hope he comes back next year, Dan the Q's fan man.
Paul, voicing your commercial.
Paul McCoy.
Can't tie his shoes.
Learn about the many jobs available at our career fair, Thursday, February 6th. Immediate openings available in sales, service, parts, clerical, and
It would probably be the biggest upset for a Syracuse team in basketball history.
Stop by our career fair, February 6th between 3 and 6 p.m. Drivers Village in Cicero. Find out more at dvpeople.com.
North Carolina realized they need a GM now too, guys. It's Syracuse was even ahead of North Carolina on that one.
Move up. Move forward. Do what moves you. Visit upstateorthopedics.com today.
If you've been injured or hurt in a car wreck, you think your case is a big one. You think you deserve a big team that can take on big insurance. Because what we really think you deserve is a big win.
1 Wall Street, Albany, New York. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Live from the Harding, Missouri.
Hey, YouTube vanished from my chat bot. He's on. I don't have the call manager open. I'm assuming it's him. Welcome back to Orange Nation, Paulie and Steve. I got my rant out in the first segment, my monologue like Johnny Carson. Happy 50th birthday, Steve. This album's younger than me, and that doesn't make me feel good about myself. Rumors turns 50 today, so we're celebrating with 7 tracks from Rumors. The biggest selling rock album of 2024.
That's right. You mentioned that yesterday. I didn't believe
Which
you.
is shocking. Yeah. Why would you believe me?
All right, let's
sound like one of our listeners.
Let's go to our guest line and bring on our first guest today. So pleased to be joined by the voice of the Duke Blue Devils, David Shoemate, on the show as we get you set for Syracuse at Duke tomorrow night inside the Dome. David, thanks so much for coming on. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you guys?
Good. We're doing well. So I guess fill us in on this Duke team, because we've watched from afar, and I think we've all been in awe like everybody else. This team undefeated in conference play, just 2 losses, close ones to Kentucky and Kansas. You've been doing this a while. Is this the best team that you've seen at Duke, or I guess bring us up to date on where this team kind of fits in for you in terms of teams you've worked with.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 8th year I've been doing the games, and obviously it's certainly in the conversation with that 18-19 team that had Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish and Trey Jones, and I could go down the list, and obviously the team led by Banchero that got to the Final Four. It's certainly in that conversation, but as you guys know, and it's hard to do those sort of reflections in midseason because a lot of what things get judged on here, and rightfully so, or what you do in the postseason. So obviously this team has a chance with the pieces that have been put together. I will say this is, by some measure, the best defensive team since I've been here. And a lot of that has to do with their overall size. If you look at the KenPom metrics, they're the tallest team in the country, which obviously equates to one of the longest teams in the country, and they make it very difficult for other teams to execute their half-court offense. And you see that borne out in terms of the pace of play statistics. Teams are just not getting quick shots up against Duke. It takes a while to work against it. I'm sure that becomes frustrating for other teams. A lot of times that defense leads to early offense, and that was obviously on display Saturday night when they jumped out on North Carolina 40-13 in the first half. So it's certainly in the conversation among those elite teams, and a lot of that centers around, of course, what Cooper Flagg has done.
Yeah, we're going to ask you about Cooper Flagg next, so a great segue there. A young guy, I mean, he just turned 18 years old in December, and he came to college with all sorts of hype, all sorts of expectations, and not only has he lived up to him, it almost feels like he's kind of surpassed the expectations, if that was even possible. I mean, you get to watch him day in and day out. What makes him so special?
It's how many different ways he can impact the game. I mean, we knew coming in that he was going to be an elite defender. That was obvious, and can certainly score at will and one-on-one matchups. But I think when we thought about some of these freshmen over the years, and Duke has certainly had their fair share of elite freshmen, a lot of times it was like a scoring thing, right? 20-some points a game, 30 points a game. And I think when Cooper came in, I wasn't sure if it was going to be that because I knew what he could do on the defensive end. I thought it'd be more across the board. And it certainly has been across the board, don't get me wrong. But now he's also averaging north of 20 points per game as well. He leads the Blue Devils in scoring, rebounds, assists, block shots, and steals. He's in the top 10 in the ACC in each of those 5 categories. It is very unique. I think some ways those stats really belie how dominant he is on the floor. Even though they tell you he's dominant, he's so much more than that. Obviously, the offense runs through him. Sion James is the point guard, but you could call Cooper the point forward because he sets up the offense and runs it, and you're kind of in jail in terms of how you want to defend him. If you want to go one-on-one, look, he can put up 42 like he did against Notre Dame. If you want to try to double, he can have 7 assists like he did on Saturday night against Carolina because he can see over the defense, and he always seems to make the right basketball play, and he does it on both ends of the floor. He's just a remarkable, unique talent, and that doesn't even speak to how competitive he is.
I mentioned Duke's got 2 losses, Kentucky and Kansas, both close games, and correct me if I'm wrong, I watched both games. I believe he had a late turnover in both, or a possession that, ball was in his hands, they came away empty, and those games ended up slipping away. How has he used those 2 games and maybe those 2 experiences early in the season to help him get better, help the team get better? And, they have not lost since that loss to Kansas.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to go through things and to learn what you need to do differently. And I think it speaks to, one, his medal as a young player, just turned 18 in December, but also to John Shire and his staff to trust him and allow him to have those moments and the opportunities to learn and grow. Not that anybody wants to lose, but sometimes you learn from those things, and it's what you do with them. And, you think about a game, a couple weekends ago, Duke was at Wake Forest, and it was getting away in the second half. They were like 2 of their first 19 from the field and were down by 6 or 7 in that ball game, and Cooper took over, and he was the playmaker down the stretch and dominated the ball game, and the Blue Devils got out of there with the win. And those are the moments that I think maybe aren't there if you don't go through some of the growing pains you do early in the season trying to make plays and learning what works and what doesn't work and what you need to do and what you need to adjust. And like I said, a tip of the cap to him for making, we're splitting hairs, right, with what he's done. I mean, we're pointing at those 2 games because they've won 15 in a row and they're 19-2, but it says something about him, says something about his coach that, the faith that he has in him to be able to grow and learn through those moments and go through them. Not fun at the time, but obviously paying dividends right now.
And how about the guys around him? Because, for those who maybe haven't watched Duke play, they think maybe it's just Cooper Flagg. Like, I'm looking at the statistics for this team right now. He leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. But it's more than just Cooper Flagg. So, when Duke comes to town here tomorrow night, who are some other guys that Syracuse fans are going to have to be looking out for?
No, it's a great point. I mean, part of Cooper's success is there's really no one you can come off on the defensive end of the floor. Sion James is a grad transfer that comes over from Tulane. He's been starting at the point. He can certainly score in and around the rim. He can shoot it really well as well. You've got Tyrese Proctor, who's been a good shooter for the Blue Devils the last 2 years, an elite perimeter defender. Con Knipple, first-round draft pick, if you look at the projections. He was the leading scorer. Cooper gets a lot of the attention, but he had 22 in that ball game, hit a couple of threes, definitely can shoot. Maluach is 7'2" inside, protecting the rim, can certainly score the ball inside as well. So that becomes the problem. All 5 spots on the floor can really get after you. So it sounds great. Okay, try to take Cooper away and double team, but then you're leaving someone open, and Duke more often than not has made teams pay. And then when you come off the bench, to me, the roster construction has been really impressive with what John Shire has done coming into his 3rd season. Isaiah Evans is a lead shooter. He's a talented freshman. Mason Gillis obviously knows what it takes to play for a championship, did that a year ago against Purdue. And then, as you guys are very familiar with, Malik Brown is an incredible defensive presence and obviously creates a lot of problems on the interior, on the perimeter, allows the Blue Devils to go small, relatively speaking, and switch 1 through 5. They do that some with Maluach, but do it a lot more when Brown is on the floor. So it's just hard to find a weakness for this team. And if on the rare occasion where one of those 5 starters or someone on the team is having an off night, there's certainly reinforcements coming off the bench. Caleb Foster is a piece of that as well. So that, to me, is what has made this Duke team, maybe a step ahead the last couple of years, is the depth they bring to the table in addition to those 5 guys that roll out there and start tomorrow night. It's just hard to find a way to attack this team.
You brought up the name Malik Brown, and I guess there was some question as to whether or not he would be ready to go for this game. Suffered a knee injury about 3 weeks ago, did return against North Carolina, so it sounds like he should be good to go for the Syracuse game. You look at his stats, and, he was a guy that I think, we saw for a couple years, and we always said the same thing, that, like, you look at his stats, you're like, that doesn't tell the whole story of how he impacts a game. He's only averaging 2.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, but, can you speak to how Malik impacts a game when he's out there for this team?
Yeah, and there's a stat that the Duke staff tracks, and it's not an official stat, but he's closing in on like 100 deflections on the season, which is was at one point like twice as more than anybody else. Obviously, with the time he's missed, some guys have caught up, but to me, that is the stat that speaks to Malik Brown. He has a knack for knowing another player's weakness, knowing how to get into the passing lane. Talking about it, he says it boils down to his film study and what he's done. And, when you look at Duke's resume, the most impressive one, obviously, is that home win over Auburn in December in Janai Broome, obviously one of the most talented players in the country, right there with Cooper Flagg in terms of Player of the Year categories. He was a real problem for Janai Broome. He never got comfortable on the offensive end, talking about Broome, because Malik was always tipping the ball away or poking it away or getting a hand in there. And the ability to do that without fouling is very impressive. And, we talk a lot about Cooper Flagg's basketball IQ, and rightfully so. I would put Malik Brown right there as well. The steals, the assists, the ways he can impact the game without having to score. As you guys said, when you look at a box score, it's not a great way to evaluate the impact that he has on the game, because he kind of embodies what every coach wants in terms of the ideal basketball player. He does the nitty-gritty, dirty work that causes so many problems for the other team.
So much to like about him. It'll be interesting to see the reception he gets tomorrow, because I know a lot of SU fans felt, betrayed to some degree that he left, but such a nice young man and obviously a great player as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he's received inside the Dome tomorrow. Last question for you, David. Normally I would ask, how do you see this game playing itself out? I think we're probably all on the same page where we expect Duke to win and win handily. Let me ask you this. If lay out a scenario where Syracuse keeps this close. What would they have to do, and what would Duke maybe not have to do for this to be a close game tomorrow?
Well, I mean, I think when you look at the games that have been close, particularly of late, when you look at Wake Forest and NC State and what they've done, obviously had some success on the defensive end of the floor. The Bulldogs didn't have their best shooting nights from the perimeter. But when you look at the Syracuse team, there's certainly the pieces there. And to me, the record is not indicative of what this Syracuse team is capable of, just because of the injuries that you guys know very well that Syracuse has been dealing with. Obviously, Starling and now Freeman dealing with something as well. But Eddie Lampkin, I mean, he's a problem. 6'11", 265. How do you contend with that inside? And obviously the scoring for Starling is a piece of that as well. So, I don't want to sound like an old coaching cliche, but if Duke turns it over and can't get their set defense out there, that could be a problem with Syracuse being able to score in transition. And then obviously the Bulldogs playing in a dome for the first time. How well do they shoot the basketball is going to be a piece of the storyline as well. But a conference game on the road, you always have to be ready, and I think Syracuse certainly has the pieces to beat just about anybody, and coming off a very impressive win against Cal.
All right, David. Thanks so much for the time. We do appreciate it. Enjoy your time in the 315.
All right, appreciate it, fellas.
All right, David Shoemate, voice of the Duke Blue Devils. And with that, we will take a timeout. We'll get to another guest on the other side. Sam English from the SU men's lacrosse team will join us back after this.
He just defended our chat because he mentioned the injuries. Syracuse fans don't want to hear that. That's not factual that there was injuries. Stop making excuses.
We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
I do too. Dan the Cuse fan does not like him at all. Revenue doesn't go towards NIL, if that's what you're talking about. I don't know how many times. Oh, no, Matt from Auburn. Steve has been saying enjoy your time in the 315 before Brian Higgins was even here. Speaking of which, Monday was my 15th year anniversary here.
How many?
15.
Good for you.
$15 here. You hear that, Mr. Levine? If anybody wants to thank me for my service. I've never been fired from here yet. Thank you, LA Orange. Even for all the dumb things you say, I like you. And I bet you the feeling's mutual. I have been here 15 years carrying Syracuse University's water. You're all welcome. A charcoal. I would love a charcoal smoker. I would like anybody to acknowledge that I've been here 15 years. I doubt that, Q66. How come they didn't send me to Radio Row for the Super Bowl? Why would we do that? That sounds like a loss of money. Hey, speaking of Mr. Levine, he's outside the window waving.
I didn't see him.
CJC is going to get the regurgitated. It didn't come out. It went down the pipe.
What?
On the karate chop. The regurgitated piece of steak. It was probably well done. That's why. The new computer's chat bot doesn't have YouTube on it anymore. I had it for like a day. Brian Higgins, do you know what this problem is? It said we received too many comments from YouTube. You look at it now. I am the operations manager. Thank you. Sometimes you got to talk to the peasants like that, Steve. Sweet.
Okay, so gotta make sure. Would it be a career ender if a clip went out where you said that people saying Donnie Freeman is faking an injury is quote dumb? Is that a career ender? Is that a no-no? You can say yes if you want, but if it's yes, you're not making it.
I don't know. Use your judgment.
My judgment's wrong most of the time.
Let me.
I'm trying to play a song right now, and somebody is on our computer. Welcome back to Orange Nation. Fleetwood Mac, Gold Dust Woman. Someone always logs onto this. It wasn't Jordan this time.
It was not. Jordan was in here. He had an alibi.
Whenever I try to play the bump music, somebody logs on and starts moving my mouse around. It was probably Brian because I complained about something on the computer. Gold Dust Woman, 50 years old today. The album Rumors.
All right.
Steve, the chat was saying you look older than 50. I just thought I'd let you know that.
The chat or one particular person in the chat?
But the whole chat.
The whole chat?
Yeah.
Not there yet, people.
It was consensus. We put a poll up.
Not there yet. All right, let's go back to our guest line. Back-to-back interviews here as we switch gears. We talk lacrosse now. Pleased to be joined by a grad student at Syracuse University, midfielder Sam English, joining us on the program. Sam, thanks so much for finding a few minutes for us. How are you today?
Yeah, of course. How's it going? Not bad. It's good to be going again. It was a good day on Saturday, and we're excited for the opportunity to play again on Friday.
So let's talk about Saturday. Let's talk about a convincing win over Jacksonville. And I think coming into the season, people knew you guys would be able to score. You had a lot of firepower back from last season, but, you guys really seemed to score at will, putting up 25 goals. Talk to me about that offensive performance and, I guess what you liked about it and what, if anything, you feel like you guys still need to work on that end of the field.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. We kind of had all guys. We went 12 deep, and we were firing on all cylinders, whether it was moving the ball, beating a guy one-on-one or whatever it was. We were kind of pretty dialed on all forms of the way we play offense and the way we like to play offense. So it was a good day for the Orange, and we're pretty pumped about kind of where we go next and how that's going to look going forward.
This day and age, so many teams around the country are getting used to new pieces, right? With transfer portal and whatnot. And you guys have some new pieces, but 7 of your top 9 scorers from last year are back. I mean, how much does that help, Sam, to have a prior, playing relationship with so many guys on this team? There is quite a core back from last year's squad. How much does that help, especially early in the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, especially early in the season where other teams, I think, are kind of trying to mesh together and dial in their chemistry or whatever it is. And I think for us, Yeah, we bring our top 9 guys all played for us last year and all contributed. So it's been easy to just jump right back in, and whether it's X's and O's or bonding or chemistry on and off the field, it's been really easy just to get in there with the 12 of us or 9 of the entire offense and be really good and kind of show what it's supposed to look like, I guess, for the guys who are new and are experiencing this for the first time. Just seeing that kind of the chemistry that we have and the group that we have that's been there before and done it together. It's massive for our team and our offense.
I asked you about the offensive performance on Saturday. How about the defensive performance on Saturday? Because again, I think we all expected you guys to be able to score goals this year, but to hold a top 10 offense from a year ago to 4 goals in the opener. I mean, can you speak to the job they did on the other end of the field on Saturday? Yeah,
I mean, it's huge. Like I think we all knew, the group that our 53 guys knew what that group of dudes is capable of and the potential that they have, and I think they showed it on Saturday and Gracie stepping in there and playing a big role, and you have the knowns of Billy and Fig and Ricey and Jimmy stepping in and being a good ball stopper. That's been huge, going to be huge for us, and we got a really good group of defense and we're really pumped about them.
Can you speak to expectations a little bit, Sam? And I don't need to tell you this, that the expectations this year are Final Four and national championship, and that's the way it's been around here at Syracuse for so many years. And the program, hasn't been to a Final Four in 10 plus years, and fans around here are not used to that. How do you, I guess, do you embrace those expectations? Is it just kind of like, coming to Syracuse that's what's expected of you? How do you deal with the fact that, everybody thinks this is a Final Four team and that this is the year that the drought ends?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of just got to lock it out. You hear all this noise and you hear the expectations and you hear what this team is supposed to do. And I think the only thing that really matters is kind of what the guys in the locker room believe and what us 53 dudes are what we believe we're capable of. And I think we know that we have the potential and the opportunity to be special this year and to do something really special that Syracuse hasn't done in a while. And I think that's the only thing that really matters is that I know the guy next to me knows and believes that we can win a national championship.
I work at Channel 9, as you probably know, and we had Joey Spallina on our show on Channel 9 about a week or so ago, and he said something that really resonated with me. He talked about the fact that there are no more excuses this year. He said, we were young for a while. We're not young anymore. We dealt with some injuries. Well, we're healthy now. We had to learn how to win. Well, we know how to win now. All the excuses are off the table, and it almost sounded like there was a certain chip on his shoulder, a confidence that he was carrying with him. Do you find, is that the attitude in the locker room right now about the fact that, the excuses are off the table? It's time to go out there and make this thing happen for you guys?
100%. I think that whether it's a chip or whether it's that confidence, I think we got one goal in mind, and there's one thing that we want to do, and that's to win a national championship and be great, and that's it. And I think every guy from top down knows it, and every guy wants to play their role and be a part of that, and whatever that means for them. And I think it's special, and I think we got a really good locker room.
As many of our listeners know, you came to Syracuse from Princeton. You're from Canada, from Ontario. Can you speak to why you wanted to come here? And was it Coach Gate and maybe his ties to Canada? And what was it about, I guess, this program, this coach, this place that made you want to come here and finish out your career?
Yeah, I mean, this is specifically in the lacrosse world, this place is special, and there's so much history here. And you talked about it. It's Syracuse is great, and being part of that group that can hopefully bring Syracuse back to where it's been is something I've always kind of wanted to be a part of, especially going through that recruiting process for my grad years. And whether it was Coach Gate, Coach Marsh, they were super helpful in the process and unbelievable recruiters. And I kind of wanted to be a part of what Syracuse lacrosse is and be a part of the history of Syracuse lacrosse. And I think we got a chance to make history and be a part of that this year.
Let's look ahead to what's next. Coming off that win over Jacksonville, you've got, the challenge of playing 2 games in a relatively short period of time. You play Friday, and then you play again on Monday, Vermont, and then Towson. What are you expecting to see, with Vermont on Friday, since you're locked in on them right now? And can you speak to, the challenge of a quick turnaround like that, playing, less than 72 hours later?
Yeah, I think we're excited for Towson. I think we know that they're going to be a tough team that is going to bring everything they got. They have a scout on us, and we don't have a scout on them, so it's hard to say what they're going to be, how they're going to look coming out. But I think we know it's going to be a challenge, and we're now we got to dial in this week and be ready for Friday. Playing 2 games is tough, but I think we did it last year, and if we're going to win a national championship, we're going to have to do it at the end of May. So you kind of just got to soak it and roll with the punches and go and be ready for Towson on Monday after hopefully beating Vermont on Friday.
All right, 6 o'clock face-off inside the Dome on Friday. Part of a men's-women's doubleheader, right? The women get started 1:30 in the afternoon against Albany, and then the men taking on Vermont at 6. Sam, a lot of people are excited about this team. Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll chat again during the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, Sam English, midfielder on the SU men's lacrosse team, joining us here on the show. We'll hit a timeout. Phone lines now open the rest of the way, 315-437-7644. Back after this on ESPN Radio. Wipe the smirk off your face. It didn't come out the way that I wanted it to, okay?
Oh, it did too.
No, it didn't.
It did. As you know, I am on News Channel 9.
I did not mean it like that. I meant, we've interviewed him before. I just meant, it didn't come out right.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm a TV star. Actually, you do know this because I'm such a big star.
It didn't come out right.
As you know, I am the TV man. This guy over here, just a radio peon.
It came out wrong.
Sam asked what News Channel 9 is after the interview, according to Jordan.
Funny.
I'm Terry. I'm Tony. Here at Mannion and Copani, we get 2 kinds of calls. One.
Good work, Steve. Don't let Polly get to you.
I couldn't even look at you after I said that because I could see out of the corner of my eye, I saw the smirk, and I was like, don't look at him, don't look at him, don't look at him.
The one time he's not completely zoned out, I said that. Do you know who I am? He didn't even ask, do you know who I am? He just said, you already know who I am. That was worse than do you know who I am? It was, you know who I am. I was like, it looks like it's fixed. The thing said that we had received too many chats from YouTube. Or it actually said we posted too many. Yes, I should be celebrated. Steve, on the other hand. You may know me from such great things as Canadian Christmas. Choking on a pork chop.
I didn't choke it.
Biting my tongue on even worse. Hating mayonnaise. What if he said that? Oh, you're the guy that hates mayonnaise.
Yeah, I am.
You may know me from extreme chair yoga, according to someone who works here. I was there when a woman had her finger ripped off by a llama. Oh, yes. Good friend of Chubby Checker. You may know me from Food on a Stick. That's a good one.
Why am I not seeing these comments? Oh. Where's the Chubby Checker comment?
Jordan is writing them to me.
Oh, to you.
Jordan's writing my comedy for me today. I have a comedy writer.
I'm glad you guys think you're so funny.
I make my wife power wash the house. That's how famous I am. When you watch Doug, do you hate Patty mayonnaise? That's the whole point, Baker. Why would Steve know he works at News Channel? Why would he know Steve works at News Channel 9? Yeah, because he knows.
Who, Sam? We've interviewed him before.
Yeah, he probably doesn't remember, though.
Stop.
Like, oh, News Channel 9.
Will you
yeah.
stop? Stop.
He probably doesn't remember. He's done hundreds of interviews.
There's 3 stations in town.
Yeah, he probably goes, that's a TV.
I just want you to know when you said that, I walked to the door and looked at each other.
Yeah, good. Fine. Funny.
Look, people don't know me from anything. Like, it was just funny.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. I am Paula. You may know me from this radio show and Total Eclipse of the 80s on Sunny 102. Rumors turning 50 today, Steve. Today may be the day Steve quits. He's taking this one personal. Songbird by Fleetwood Mac. What's your favorite Fleetwood Mac song, Steve?
I do like Landslide.
Yeah, that's a depressing song.
It's a good song, though.
Depressing. Cavalcades of Cars is coming March 22nd and 23rd to the Fairgrounds Center of Progress building. Finally in a building.
Horticulture.
Finally in a building I could pronounce. The Center of Progress building. The event features a pinup contest, old schoolroom, live music, vendors, swap meet, and more. Kids 12 and under get in free. You get a pass for the whole weekend, just $25. Cavalcade of Cars, CNY.com. It's now brought to you by the presenters of Syracuse Nationals, Steve. Did I tell you that Coach Jack named her car Betsy?
Yes, you did tell me that.
Hers was Betsy Lou. Mine was Betsy. So I'm not the only. Maybe you could address it with her that it's weird.
I think it's kind of weird for a guy to name their car. Yeah, I said it.
It's not. In Betsy's, we did discuss this. Betsy is the most common name.
Yeah, we did discuss this, yes.
Actually, it's manly to name your car.
I don't know anybody. I don't know anyone who's named their car other than you. I mean, maybe I do, and I'm just not aware of it, but.
I think a lot of people name their cars, except for people that aren't fun.
People are not fun. Right. Okay.
If it's a muscle car, it needs a name. Yeah, Gavendra's right. Just like a boat. All boats have names.
That's true. Boats. Yeah, I get boats. I guess I don't know anybody who has a muscle car, so there we go.
Yeah, that's about right. My Buick is not a muscle car. Red Rob's cousin named his car Duncan because he drove around on a donut for a long time. That seems safe. Oh, Rumors wasn't released 50 years ago? Is that Matt from Auburn? Is that correct?
Matt from Auburn says 48 years ago.
I mean, find out. I just assumed it was me being an ass. See, this is why you got to be factual on things, guys. It was released in 1977.
Yeah, so that would be 48.
Oh. Okay.
Still its birthday, though. Just not the birthday.
Yeah.
Now I'm older than it, too.
Yes. Guess I'm wrong. POS was Kevin's old car's name.
Is that a nickname, though?
Sure.
Okay.
There's a song about a car called that by Adam Sandler. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I heard a rumor. It was just a rumor that it was 50. It's incorrect.
Good save.
It was incorrect.
Good save.
I said it in front of Rick DiUlio, and he didn't correct me, and that dude knows everything.
He was probably just taking your word for it. Figured you did the research.
Yeah. No, he knows everything. He probably just let me go out there and be a fountain of misinformation. Stink at my job. I'm going to take this one hard. Don't make this a promo, guys. Completely wrong on the year Rumors was released by Fleetwood Mac. Should be fired.
On your 15th.
Yeah, my 15th anniversary.
Anniversary.
Yes. We don't say that on the air that this is year 15.
Why? I don't understand.
We don't want anybody to know.
You want to fly under the radar?
How sure am I that it's my 15th? I just looked at. I looked.
Facebook told you?
No, I looked on my my pay thing.
Your pay thing? Your pay stub?
No, our website for pay.
Ah. And had your hiring date. You just happened to look today?
Yeah, because it came up on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And then I wanted
that
to
this was your anniversary.
Yeah, and
okay.
I wanted to factually check it.
So you started in the middle of basketball season?
Yep. In order to get this station ready to get on the air. ESPN wasn't even on the air yet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
that makes more sense.
I was building the station from the ground up.
Gotcha. And look at what it's become.
Yeah. I now have the guy from TV on.
You know, when you do a live show, sometimes things don't come out exactly the way they should.
Yeah, like sometimes you say Rumors.
Yeah, right.
You get the wrong date, or
so cut me some slack, all right?
You don't realize religious holidays aren't national
right,
holidays.
Exactly.
It happens.
Right. Sometimes mistakes happen. All right, we'll take a time out here. We've got all of hour number 2 ahead of us. Phone lines open.
But you'd have to assume that what you said was a mistake.
What do you mean?
Well,
the Canadian Christmas was definitely a mistake.
Yeah, but you may know me from.
No, it came out wrong. It came out wrong. We've interviewed him before on Channel 9, and I just my guess is he remembers that we've interviewed him on TV. That's all.
Okay,
that was all I meant. It didn't come out right. Hour number 2 next on ESPN Radio.
Did I name my blow up doll? Yeah, I did. Its name is Your Mom. God bless her. 87. I don't want to live that long. I've had it at 52. Yeah, because that works for everybody. If I say my blow-up doll's name was Your Mom, it was just, is he talking about my mom, or is that just her name? Is her first name Your and her last name's Mom? Sorry, Steve, didn't mean to boot you in the foot. We're playing footsies under the table, everybody. Your mom raised a hero, Govendo. Thank you, whoever corrected me on Rumors. Your adopted parents raised a hero. Revised by Wolves sounds like a band name. So does Raised by Wolves. I wrote a book and a bunch of wolves fact-checked it for me. Oh, I didn't thaw anything out for dinner tonight. What am I going to do? It's so cold in here, my knees hurt, Steve. You ever been to a cavalcade of anything?
Cars.
This show is a cavalcade of suck. I have no idea. Let's Google the word cavalcade. Jordan asked a good question. What the hell is a cavalcade? A formal procession of people walking around horseback or riding in vehicles. I didn't know what a cavalcade was. Welcome back to Orange Nation, hour number 2. There's very few albums that are good, from front to back, Steve.
Yeah.
This is one. The Chain, off of Rumors. Only 47, I lied.
No, 48 today.
48, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. 77
I was wrong again.
to 25 is 48.
I can't break the chain of my incorrectness. I'm the missing link to smartness. Okay, Steve, so we started the show with a tweet that claimed that Donnie Freeman had quit on the team, right?
Yes.
And it was said without any factual basis whatsoever, and that maybe he was implying faking the injury.
Yes.
And we were going to come back to it and bring back the curtain in our Q Sports Talk chat. If you'd like to watch along, you can go to qsportstalk.com or go to YouTube and punch in Q Sports Talk. Bring Back the Curtain actually has rehashed it from a fan perspective. And I don't agree with his take either. He says, Paulie, I don't agree with someone saying he's faking the injury, but it's truly dumb to maybe speculate that Freeman shut it down to help his draft stock that was plummeting. To say that without any factual basis whatsoever is irresponsible and stupid. Bring back the curtain. If you don't know that, that's a thought you'd keep to yourself. Or you talk about it amongst your friends. You don't put it in a public forum.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that is implying that, I mean, his foot is still in a boot.
Or am I reading it wrong that you're saying that it is dumb to speculate that? But then I agree with you. It is absolutely dumb without the facts to say that. Or I answered your question. He's saying he was questioning.
Right. He said is it? So he just didn't put a question mark.
Is it dumb to truly speculate that Freeman shut it down? Yeah, it is. Because if you don't know, you're being a jerk and you're defaming somebody.
Right, and his foot is still in a boot. It's not like he's out of a boot and practicing again or able to play and just, says he's not 100% or, might be able to fight through it but doesn't want to because he's protecting his drafts. Like, that's not the case. He's still in a boot. He's not ready to go yet, obviously. The doctors have not cleared him. And, to say that it's anything other than injury right now, you have no basis for that.
Yeah, and you're allowed to say it. Nobody's saying you can't say it. It's just not... I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I don't have the facts.
Yeah, I mean, it does, I think that this is kind of a byproduct of where we are right now with college athletics, with, guys making NIL money and, their performance. Like, fans feel like they could be more critical of a college player's performance more now than ever before. And I think, and I understand that, to some degree, the fact that, there is money involved now. There is NIL. But fans are contributing to this.
Questioning if they're hurt or not.
No, I know. I completely agree with that. Like, to me, that's crossing the line. But in terms of, how critical fans can get of players now, I think there's a little bit more of a gray area than there used to be with, college athletes, because they're getting paid pretty well in a lot of cases now.
Yeah, and we don't know what Donnie's pay is either. So it's irresponsible.
Yes, that particular comment is irresponsible. I would agree.
Yeah, like you could say he struggles defensively. He shoots too many threes. He don't have an issue with that. But you can't question whether he's hurt or not unless you know. And there's some people that are hurt that aren't, you might question their tolerance of pain and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if he's in a boot, which we've spoke to a doctor, maybe, precautionary, I tend to think if he could play, he'd be playing.
I tend to think that as well. And hopefully we'll get some clarity on that in the next week, as Adrian Autry said. I mean, they're running out of time. There's, a month left in the season for this team, unless they go on some sort of crazy run at the ACC tournament. So,
and if you want to do that, you'd need him back.
Well, of course, yeah. Yeah. I mean, people don't want to hear this, but Adrian Autry has coached one game since the beginning of December where everybody on his roster was at his disposal. And that was the Florida State game, January 4th. JJ was back, Donnie played, and then we haven't seen Donnie in uniform since then. One game since the start, since November 28th, I believe, was the Cornell game. Because he got hurt going into Tennessee. Didn't play against Tennessee, as we know, JJ. Again, people don't want to hear that, but that is, that has happened. It's been more than 2 months since they've had a healthy roster. They had it for one game.
Who's guarding Cooper Flagg tomorrow? If they're not playing zone?
I do think we're going to see some zone tomorrow, and I know that Duke leads the conference in made 3-pointers, 10 per game, but I think that to me that is your best chance.
Just say make 10. We'll give you your 10 threes.
Right.
And
that's your best chance, I think. You have to hope that they miss shots. And, we asked David Shoemate, how is this game close? And he said against Wake and NC State, that was the first thing out of his mouth was they didn't shoot well. I think you have to hope for that. Now, you might get run out of the gym if they are shooting well, but that might be your best chance to keep this game close, is to pack in a zone and almost dare them to make threes on you. Pick your poison with who you're gonna contest and who you're not gonna contest, and hope that they miss shots. Because they are, I know we all talk about Cooper Flagg, but they are balanced. And it's going to be a pick your poison tomorrow night.
For the love of God, if Jair Davis tries to back down Malik Brown, I'm going to lose my mind. Because we all know you can't do that.
Poke it away.
Yeah.
Poke.
Right?
Poke it away.
Can't you see him getting poked?
Yes.
Like, he is the prime example of dudes who get poked.
I brought it up with David Shoemate. What do you think the reception is going to be? So, I mean, it's interesting because
I'm okay if they boo him.
Yeah.
The Joe Girard was a different animal. Joe Girard didn't do anything. Our fans are just dumb about Joe Girard. He left for Duke in the bank. And he took a lesser role, basically.
Well, not basically. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's playing less than 20 minutes and, coming off the bench. And but he's on the, second-ranked team in the country. And, they're the odds-on favorites to win the national title right now. So, I don't know. I get why he did it, but it'll be interesting because
you can boo him.
You can? Okay.
Every time he touches the ball, boo him. It's not a Joe Girard situation.
It's interesting because, if Quadir Copeland came back, he's not getting booed, right?
No.
If Justin Taylor came back, he's not getting booed.
Because they all took step down. They didn't go to
What if Benny Williams came back? He's not getting booed.
Yeah, he would.
I don't think he would. I really don't.
I would boo Benny Williams. I booed him when he was on this team. I used to just yell from our broadcast position, boo! I think Benny Williams would get booed.
You do?
Yeah.
But he left it people were fine that he left.
Yes. That's exactly.
But why would you boo him then?
Why would you not be fine? He was. I rolled out the red carpet. I drove him to the airport.
Right, but why boo him when he's back? He's out. He's a young man who's obviously gone through some things, and
he was a problem for
I know.
this program.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, it's interesting because on the one hand, you've got Malik Brown, who's this quiet kid who just did his job when he was here, and by all accounts, really nice young man. Not that Benny's not, but Benny was a problem, as you said. Didn't live up to expectations.
Malik Brown broke up with us to go out with a better-looking woman. And that hurts.
Right, but I understand why he may get booed. I don't think Benny's getting booed if he came back. I mean, it's a hypothetical
I don't think
thing.
you get this fan base.
Maybe not.
Boo everyone. That's damn right, Lukey Lou.
Okay. And then maybe I'm in the minority here. If Kadari came back, he certainly wouldn't get booed.
Florida guy says, Paulie is a judge of whether fans can be mean or not. You're damn right. You're damn right.
I brought up Kadari. You didn't respond. He's not getting booed, right?
No,
but he left. I mean, that was his decision to leave.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Benny Williams didn't make that decision.
No, but Malik Brown. Malik's definitely getting booed, you said. Why is Kadari not getting booed?
Because Kadari left under a situation where he probably thought he could get more minutes.
Right, but what does it matter? What does it matter what the reason is? He still left on his own. He turned his back on that and he left. Right. Well, Malik Brown had his reasons too.
Yeah, more money and to go to Duke. And
you don't know what his reasons were. Did he have a press conference and say these were my reasons?
Steve.
I'm just saying.
Steve. You're just mad because it's a Duke player they're going to.
No, I'm not mad at all.
You're
I'm not mad at all. I like Malik Brown. I do
too. I think he's a good kid.
He did his job. I think he's a good kid. I think he came here. He worked hard.
Doesn't mean you can't boo him.
Well, but why? I don't know. It's not my thing.
He's a paid athlete. He left us for a better looking girl.
But I'm saying, I'm telling you, I understand why some might boo Malik Brown. Why wouldn't you boo Kadari Richmond? He left. It was his decision to leave.
Yeah, but he didn't leave for money.
But you don't know that.
I mean, it wasn't legal back then, was it? I completely understand why Kadari Richmond was, because there was a portion of the fan base that wanted him starting.
Yeah.
And he probably thought he could start somewhere.
Well, but you pointed out maybe Malik Brown, he saw the writing on the wall. He was playing out of position.
But then he went to a school where he wasn't going.
He wanted to go play for a better team, compete for a national title. That's not money related. I'm sure money factored into it, but all I'm saying is we don't know the reasons. It's the only reason I bring it up. I don't know.
I'm okay with it.
Of the guys from the last couple of years, is he at the top of the list of who you would boo?
Yeah.
Malik Brown.
Yeah, because he went to Duke, dude.
Okay. I don't know. I just don't understand why.
You don't get that going to Duke is kind of a kick in the nuts?
I understand at the time it was, but
it still is. He left us for a team in their own conference.
I know.
He kicked them right in the junk while they were down. Is that Coach K sitting next to me? Yes.
Joe Girard went in conference too. Did he not?
Joe Girard got booed.
Right, but you're saying that...
he left...
You said he shouldn't have.
Yeah, he should have stayed, and he should have been... Syracuse could have used him last year, a shooter.
So why should Malik get booed but Joe shouldn't. I don't understand.
He went to Duke. If you don't know the difference between booing somebody leaving for Duke and for a team,
So it's just because he went to Duke, or is it because he left for more money?
Both of those things.
Okay.
They both equal more than going to Clemson.
Okay. You have your pulse on this. I do not.
Yeah, you're out of touch.
I wouldn't boo anybody. I don't like that. Especially like college
Well,
kids.
then don't boo.
And I know that I know that they're getting paid, but like, what did Malik Brown? Like, he just does his job. Like, it's his prerogative to leave. Like, if he wants to,
and it's everybody's prerogative to boo.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We'll see. You think it's going to be? You think he's going to get booed like Joe got booed every time Joe touched the ball? He got booed. It won't be the same. It'll be when he checks into the game.
You wouldn't boo anybody?
I don't think I would.
I wouldn't either, but I understand why they would boo him. He's a traitor.
I'm trying to think if I've ever booed. I'm wondering. I remember like vividly, like Syracuse Georgetown games when I was a kid, and when Georgetown would come out of the tunnel, the whole place would boo. I don't know if I took part or not. Like, I'm trying to remember back to my childhood, but I do remember that.
You probably cried
and feeling.
They're booing.
No, but I do. I remember feeling like an animosity toward Georgetown. Like, I don't feel animosity toward individual players.
I'm not a booer either, Steve, but like, I understand why people feel jaded by Malik Brown.
Okay.
We weren't good enough for you?
I'm just trying to compare it to other guys, though. Like, if you're going to boo him, then why are you not booing like Quadir Copeland or Justin Taylor?
Because Quadir Copeland left for an uglier girl.
And you're okay with that?
Yeah. If you downgrade from me, I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. I'm glad that I'm learning the rules here.
Yeah, you're allowed to dump somebody for someone uglier.
So Syracuse won the breakup with Quadir, but not with Malik Brown. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for putting it in words I can understand.
Yeah, does that make sense to you?
That does, yes.
Because
I still don't understand the Joe thing, though.
No, like I'll never understand the Joe thing.
The fans ran him out of town, and then they're mad that he went. I don't understand that.
I don't think they were mad. Okay, so let me explain. They weren't booing Joe Girard because he transferred to Clemson. They were booing Joe Girard because they hated him.
Well, you're right. Yes.
It's completely different. They probably would have booed him when he was in a Syracuse jersey if it made sense. It had nothing to do with his transferring.
Okay. I think you're spot on with that. Yes, it was personal with Joe. All right. Phone lines remain open if you want to check in. 315-437-7644. We'll step aside here. We'll be back after this on ESPN Radio.
Steve is hoping Malik hooks him up at the Cooper Flag interview. Would you walk up to Cooper Flag and go, I know you know who I am, but I would like to interview you?
Yeah, but Philly's Most Wanted, like, I know you know this, but, like, Girard isn't the reason Kadari left. Like, if you want to say Jim Boeheim is the reason Kadari left, I get that. But, like, Girard was here and just worked hard and did his job and got the minutes the coach gave him. And I don't know. It's not Joe's fault. Coach Boeheim's fault, maybe, but yeah, right. Max is saying the same thing. Yeah, I think the fans ran him out, Al. I do. I think that, you know, how could he not hear the chatter, you know? I mean, yeah, T takes. That's a great point about DeVito. That is a great point.
Start your journey today.
If Roddy Piper came out, would you boo him?
They're bringing up DeVito in the chat. That's a really good example that he actually did quit on the team, and now anytime he's on the Jumbotron, people cheer him.
I've mentioned that.
Yeah,
It drives me
that makes no
bonkers.
sense.
It drives me bonkers.
Makes no sense. And I get that dilemma, Cuse, but he actually quit on his team, though. Yes, and they made a move at quarterback, but I don't know. I think that's a great point to bring up.
What?
No, just that he actually did quit on his team. Like, that's a factual statement.
Oh, some cold cuts or some chicken cutlets? Tommy cutlets?
I will never understand, and you guys bring up good points about DeVito. I will never understand the hatred for Joe Girard. Like, good kid, did everything that was asked of him, maximized his ability, not the most physically gifted kid, but like maximized everything that he had. First one in the gym, last one to leave. Good teammate in the community, always had time to, take a picture with a young fan or sign an autograph or like.
He didn't quit. He did. He literally quit Orange Pride. That's quitting.
Yeah, he definitely quit. Like, you could say you understand why he did, but he definitely quit.
Because that's what they're accusing. That's what they're accusing Freeman of, is quitting. Because for that, I hear this all the time about myself, Steve. You make love and fun. I'm the most loved guy in Syracuse media.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know if you know that. Well, everybody knows that. Just like everybody knows you're on News Channel 9.
Can we let it go?
Oh, no. Oh, no. If you see Stephen Fonte anytime out in public, feel free to boo him. I think that would be fun also. It's a small town. You'll run into Steve somewhere.
Jim in Pennsylvania is up next. Hey, Jim.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay, other than this Duke stuff, although I have to say it does remind me of why I'm a fan of the game. It takes my mind off the money for a minute, because for the last couple years with NIL, the $50,000 that they want from me to pay out over a period of time for NIL, that kind of, there's pieces of that I choose to invest or not invest, but, where things are with the kids and kids deciding not to play. But so I got a lot of issues with all of that, and we need to fix it. But the Duke stuff brings me back to why I'm a fan, in that I've always said when I call in, I don't boo the kids. But if people don't see Duke as the evil empire of all things in college basketball, we've lost sight of why rivalry should matter. And I go back 25 plus odd years to this is my case in point when you want to know why Duke is so bad. Duke won the national championship, as I recall, right? And I think it was 99. They beat UConn. Was that the year? I think they beat UConn, or UConn won, whatever it was. UConn won.
UConn won, yeah.
And Elton Brand was their star. And Elton Brand announced that he was the first big star they had that was leaving to turn pro. And some rich white girl from Westport, Connecticut, who was like a junior French, lit major, wrote a letter how terrible it was that Elton Brand was leaving to go to the pros. Now, Elton Brand's family lived in Section 8 housing. She lived on an estate in Westport, Connecticut, and berated him for his betrayal, and kids got on board with that. That, to me, is the epitome of everything wrong with Duke. Duke is every kid that got waitlisted by the Ivy and thinks they hit a home run and landed on third base, right? One Duke grad once said to me, well, the reason there's other schools is somebody has to work for us someday. And that comes through in everything that program puts out there in basketball. Even Krzyzewski. When Krzyzewski did his tour de force and told the world months in advance, I'm going to retire so I can come and you can lay treasures at my feet and host ceremonies to honor me, right? Jay Wright didn't do that. Jim didn't do that. Roy Williams didn't do that. But Krzyzewski, who it turns out as he retired, and it turned out that his wife was on the payroll for the program, his daughters were all on the payroll for the program, his sons-in-laws or their businesses were on the payroll for the program. This perception of squeaky clean that they give off, that they're superior to everyone else, makes me sick. So it brings me back to why I'm a Cuse fan and why Cuse, no matter what, tomorrow night could go very badly, but why that they should be stopped at every turn, because this is what rivalry is supposed to be about. I don't like elites. I don't like elitism, put it in your face. That's what Duke represents, and why you can't ever be an apologist for Duke, especially if you're a true Cuse fan.
Now I know why Steve likes Duke.
Stop. Stop.
Great call, Jim.
Jim, we appreciate you checking in. I told you I was a Bobby Hurley fan. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like I idolized him. He was the player that I tried to model my game after.
In you.
It
shows
does it?
in you.
Does it?
You look like a Hurley.
I go back to when I was a kid and going to like Syracuse Georgetown games. They were the evil empire back then, and there was. There was an animosity. I don't want to say hatred because I don't know if anybody like hates another opponent, but there was certainly an animosity with John Thompson and Georgetown, and they were the evil empire back then. And I understand why people say that about Duke now. I will say that Kay and Boeheim being as close as they were, the rivalry was different in that there was like this mutual respect between the two of them, and now that's gone. They're both gone.
Nobody cared about that. Like, you just hate Duke. Before even
you don't think it was a softer rivalry when it started?
Between the coaches, maybe, not the fans.
I don't know. And the other thing is too that Duke already had a rival. We talked about this at length when Syracuse joined the ACC.
Everybody hates Duke, Steve. It's not tough.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Okay, so the booing is when is it appropriate to boo?
Yeah.
When is it appropriate to wear a paper bag on your head?
That came up in the chat?
Yeah. It's not paper bag yet. Like, there is a line where I would be like, yeah, you know what, the paper bag's acceptable right now.
I'm trying to think back, like when G-Rob was here. Were the paper bags broken out for that?
They were for Coach Mack. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if for Greg Robinson.
I mean, there were points of the Greg Robinson. I would have been all right. I get a good brown bag.
Yeah.
Treat your head. You remember we used to make your book covers out of brown bags?
I do remember.
Yeah. Treat your head.
I'm
like
still
a book
to
cover.
this day awful at wrapping anything, like wrapping gifts. So, yes, my mom always did that.
Tomorrow, if you're down by 40, you can put a brown bag on. Someone says.
I don't think tomorrow. Like tomorrow is. Like, what are the expectations for tomorrow? I think we all expect it, right? A comfortable Duke win.
You heard me, Steve.
Yeah. Oh, right. Syracuse is going to win by 7. You said
yes.
Right. I forgot.
Brown bags are for groceries, not for heads. Maybe lettuce, heads of lettuce, cabbage. That's it. The only heads that go in my brown bags. What is fun about that though? Like if you go to a game and you have a brown bag on your head, you're just
You probably get on TV or in the paper.
that's what I would call an AW, an attention W. Steve.
Right. That's you said what's fun about it? Like, oh, cool, I was on TV. Right.
Yeah, but you're on TV with a brown bag on your head.
Yeah,
Nobody
but you can
knows
tell
it's you.
tell all your friends like that.
Well,
was
I
me.
could tell everybody that was me too, and they'll be like, "Oh, is it? Yeah, it's me. I have a brown bag on my head. It could be anybody."
All right, shall we take a time out? Get
At
to
what
today's
age
business?
do you stop? That's another question. What age is appropriate for a brown bag? Like I think if you're in the college, if you're going to the college, when we're talking.
Well,
college
what about
sports,
if you're an NFL fan and your team is awful?
Okay, that's different because the whole that makes it like you're too old to be wearing a brown bag at a college game. If you're out of college.
But if it was a pro game?
It's yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I would say
the
30,
rules are relaxed.
30 is the cutoff.
Really?
Yeah.
30?
Yeah, if you're over 30
for an NFL game?
Yeah, if you're over 30 and you have if you're over 27, if you're over 25, I'm loose. You know what I'm getting at though. Like there's an age cutoff where you can't wear a brown bag on your head.
30?
Yeah, I was fun up until about 38, so I wasn't brown bag.
Oh, so you're
fun.
not fun anymore?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God, no. I'm not fun. Dude, I am not fun.
All right, so when you tell me I'm not fun, I can just say, well, either are you, Paulie.
Yeah, I embrace it.
Okay.
I embrace the fact that I sit home with my dog and do nothing and open baseball cards. That's not fun. Jeff in Oswego.
Jeff, what's up?
Hey, guys. Love the show. Love listening to you.
Thank you. Thanks
we
for
love
calling
you
in.
too.
What do you got?
Well, I was wondering, it doesn't seem like we got a whole lot to play for the rest of the season. We may not even make the ACC tournament, so I was hoping you guys could start billing this thing as our Super Bowl. Start hyping it up a little, because, if we beat Duke tomorrow night, that'll be all they talk about. That would be enough for me, to be honest with you. So maybe you guys can start putting a little press behind it.
Well, yeah, we've certainly been talking about the game for the last couple of days. They got to go out and do it. And I guess where I'm at with this game, Paulie, is I'm not sure they're capable of doing it, right? Anything can happen on any given night. But this would be a shocker, right, if they're able to pull this off.
Yes. To be able to win behind the fact that the coaching staff can't coach and the players have quit, it would be a miracle.
And they don't warm up properly.
Yes, it would be an absolute miracle.
Again, never say never in sports. Things happen.
And it usually happens in college basketball once a year.
Yeah.
And why not Syracuse? I doubt it'll happen. Well, I wouldn't be so shocked by it.
Is the line out yet? I don't know that I've seen a line. What do you expect the line to be?
18.
Yeah, I think somewhere. I think it's going to be around 20. I do. Probably a little bit south of 20. So you're right. It's probably going to be 17. Carolina wasn't Carolina. Carolina was a double-digit underdog. I forget exactly what the number was on Saturday, but yeah, I have not seen a line yet. Yeah, this says not yet announced.
You said 15.5 in the match game. I said 17.5.
Is that what we said?
Yeah.
I believe I predicted 20-point loss. I said 8-point win against Cal. It was a 9-point win.
I don't know what I said in the
loss.
match game about the win. I think I said they were going to lose, but I think they're going to win by 7.
Yes, you mentioned that. Calling your shot. All right, let's take a timeout. Phone line's still open if you want to give us a call. We will get to today's business on the other side. Jordan will be in next. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Orange Nation, noon to 2. ESPN Radio, 97.7 and 100.1.
27.
Don't do what you did last year. Show them you care by booking your Valentine's Day plans now with 11 Waters for you and your favorite person.
I don't say this word lightly, but that is dumb. That was my Stephen Fonte is that wholesome. I don't just throw this dumb word around willy-nilly.
Why are you coming at me today?
Because that's funny to me. Jordan knows the match game by heart because he had to listen back to it. It's freaking cold in here. What do I do with it? What do I do with my rundown every day? How do I lose it? There it is. Oh, I threw it in disgust from you not understanding booing etiquette.
Don't do anything.
Good. Andrew saying hi. Wait. Here we go. You turned it on and off.
Minute and a half, Steve.
Perfect. There we go. Exactly. Factory reset first. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll come and toss that. All right, see ya. Bye-bye. You start your first game, it's like there's something. I'm not when he goes by ice. That's the 11 quarter. Ice wax.
You guys want to go stand in front of the business so I can put some story?
Does Jordan know we're doing today's business here?
He wrote it down. I've been sitting here the whole time. So. Well, we got a call. Where is Scoot?
What does it say?
Welcome back to Orange Nation. Dreams off of Rumors. Turning 48 today. 47? 47.
48.
48 today.
Yeah.
Correct.
I like this song too.
They're all good.
Yeah.
Scooter, what's up?
First, Steve, I don't know if you're found the Senate confirmation for RFK, but RFK wants to put a warning on pork chops that could be harmful to your voice eaten wrong. So that might be something you might want to look into.
It wasn't my voice; it was my tongue, and then I couldn't talk because I bit my tongue so badly I couldn't talk the next day. But yes,
okay,
and they are dangerous.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. He wants to put a warning label on them. One quick thing: Gary Busey played Buddy Holly, a real good movie in the late '70s, early '80s, and actually did the singing for Buddy Holly. So anybody's a Buddy Holly fan, it's a pretty good movie. It's out there somewhere. Good thing about Paulie, you can actually build a couple additions to your farm. You're mentioning Vegas' point spread. Syracuse is not playing as bad as what Vegas thinks because they've been covering basically every time they've been a dog. Even when they're losing, I think the only time they haven't covered is against Louisville in the last 8 games. And if you look, we always played Duke tough. I mean, compared to North Carolina, and look at the record. We've beaten Duke, and we've beaten Duke when we're not supposed to beaten Duke down in Cameron. So who knows? I think Duke is a good team. They got a great player, but I think I said Syracuse is streaky as far as shooting. Maybe we get all lucky and they're all on, and this could be a high-scoring game. It's amazing why we play Duke better when Duke's usually ranked higher than North Carolina. But I think it's actually just based maybe Carolina's got better physical players.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, you said it right there. I mean, everything's going to have to go right, I think, for this to be a game tomorrow. And hopefully SU shoots it well, and hopefully Duke doesn't. And, hopefully you can put a little game pressure on them. It is a road game. Crowd gets in. I mean, you never know what happens. We all know how upsets happen. I think that's your hope.
Just hang with them.
Right. Hang in there. Give yourself a chance. And hope that you can apply a little game pressure to them in the second half, and you see what happens.
Hopefully it's loud in there.
Yeah. I mean, I would anticipate it will be. I mean, again, if you're a fan and you got tickets, this is the one to go to the rest of the way. Got the number 2 ranked team in the country in town, the number 1 overall draft pick, and
go watch it.
You roll the dice and you see what happens. All right. Stranger things have happened.
Triangle and 2, but you put 2 on flag. What do you think?
It's funny.
Is it?
So I played in 94 is the year we won the state title, and that's when Donald Foyle was at Hamilton, who went to Colgate and then on to the NBA. Good. And he played Class D. And so that's how teams would defend him. They would literally put someone in front of him and someone behind him, and then they would play a triangle everywhere else. And obviously, it still didn't work because they went on to win a state title, back-to-back years, as a matter of fact, 93, 94. But we scrimmaged them a lot because there was only a few teams left playing in March, so we would scrimmage for West Tennessee. We would scrimmage them. And that's how you had to defend him. He was that good. He was that big. It was you put somebody in front of him, put somebody behind him, and you hope for the best. So that's not going to happen tomorrow. But anyway,
time for today's business. Brought to you by who?
Grossman St. Amour CPAs.
And where can you find them, Jordan?
GSACPAs.com. Because I'm just skipping straight to the kicker of my stories.
Okay.
For what we're talking about here. Because I don't even know how to respond to this. Golf has some really dumb rules, but I think I found maybe the dumbest rule in all of sports. A Belgian equestrian athlete.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, which already...
I stay up late at night to watch Belgian equestrian.
That 3-word phrase in itself already had me chuckling a little bit, but it gets better. He was disqualified. The results of his dressage event were thrown out. And it's because he had a substance in him that came from dog eye drops. It was determined that the Belgian equestrian athlete accidentally got some dog eye drops into his body somehow while putting them into his sick dog. But here's the real part of this story that makes no sense. If he himself had been using the eye drops...
The dog eye drops?
Sure, it would have been fine. But because that is not the case, it was not him using the eye drops. It was illegal.
So it was in his blood system and not in his... if he had just put them in his eyes, it wouldn't have gotten into his blood system?
I don't...
That's got to be what it was, yeah.
Well, I think it was just using the eye drops is on their list of rules is you can do this. But because he wasn't using them, he was administering them. It's not legal usage for the chemical in his body.
It seems like he must have ingested it somehow, right? Is that what it was? He tested positive for a banned substance?
It began with a D. That's all I got.
Yeah, dog eye drops.
Tough break.
Do you know what a BBL is? Keep it clean.
I'm not answering that.
If you're plugged into the plastic... I didn't say Dateline. Dateline America. if you're plugged into the plastic surgery industry, guys, it's a Brazilian butt lift. It's trademarked by Dr. Benjamin Coughlin. And it's when you transfer fat from one point to another.
are you actually explaining what this is?
Yes, to another to get your booty bigger.
Yeah,
Okay.
People are now doing it on their face.
Yeah, BBL Drizzy.
So people are transferring fat from other parts of their body to their face to make them look younger. It contours your face. It literally rearranges your face with fat.
How does it make you look younger?
Can we bump back with BBL Drizzy by Metro?
Like, I'm
Boomin?
looking at these guys, like they take the fat from their chin, under their chin, and they tighten their face, and it gets rid of your lines and everything.
Come on, it's the world's only diss instrumental. It's just a beat, but the sample is a diss. Let's bump back with it.
People are sick of filler fatigue, like Botox and stuff. So they're just taking their love handles and squirting it in their face.
But that guy looks like his face looks thinner.
Yeah, because he took the fat from under his gullet
and did what with it?
And put it in his eye. Like his love handles and everything are gone.
Huh. Interesting.
It's not without risks.
He does look better, I will say that. What are the risks?
It can be extremely unpredictable with the way it behaves once it's injected into your face. Like your fat could slide on you. You just have a big fat ball on your chin.
What was wasn't there a movie with like Eddie Murphy, Dr. Dolittle? Is that what it was?
Yeah. When he got really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the name of it?
It was one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only Eddie Murphy I know is the special that they show at Nick's on Walton that you can't show anywhere else.
You can also call any of your friends that get it an ass face because it's a...
I don't know if you can say that one.
Yeah, you can.
No, I don't. That's the FCC.
The Nutty Professor. That's
Nutty Professor. That's what it was. Yes, thank you. Philly's Most Wanted. Thank you. Yes, I knew it wasn't right when I said it, but yes, Nutty Professor.
This was more enlightening than like the Rams wanting to trade Cooper Kupp, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to double check.
So, Steve, if you want to do that for your TV career, get the crow's feet around. We can get you a BBL for the old mug.
No, I'm all natural. I'm staying with it. I've got my hair's starting to thin. I'm starting to get some grays. What you see is what you get.
Okay.
All right, we'll take our final time out here. We will wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
Did you have Duke sheets in your room, Steve?
I did not.
I had Charlie Brown sheets as a kid.
Did you see?
I was jealous of Jamie Donegan because he had Star Wars sheets.
They an MLB umpire got like temporarily.
Yeah.
The umpire that it happened to, not only was all he doing, sharing a gambling account with somebody's sketchy, but he was the most accurate ball strike umpire in the league, including calling a perfect game in the World Series. Not like a pitcher perfect game, but he called. That's crazy. The umpire who gets suspended for gambling is the best in the league. Maybe all of them should gamble if that's what's happening. What if the perfect game he called in the World Series, it was a game that he bet on and he actually was trying to mess up and he was just money?
Uh-oh, Steve has Duke sheets. Is this a picture of Steve tucked into a bed with Duke sheets?
I will, Max J. Parker. I appreciate your your approval. What? I'm pretty comfy right now. I can't even back up.
I want to make it as I I want to make that his screensaver.
That one's funny, Ryan. That one's really good. I don't know why, but that one got me good, Ryan.
Oh.
BBL Drizzy's a banger, dude. You definitely knew what a BBL was. New head football coach for Baldwinsville. Steve, we got an interview for you for Friday Night Fever. Maybe. No, basketball. We're in the thick of basketball.
Tyler
Jen B in the
Rouse?
chat. How about FM taking down undefeated Rome Free Academy in hockey, huh?
Pork chop for lunch today.
Ooh, careful. Are you gonna fake an injury to get out of the Duke loss? Oh, that would be. You'd have to. Steve, did you see this picture of your childhood bedroom? Who has that bedroom? Who on earth?
So how was Cowboy Carter?
I didn't listen.
Oh,
I didn't have time.
yeah.
You told me there wasn't much country.
I only listened to half of it, and I only listened to like 10% of half of it. What do you mean?
You listen to 10% of half?
Yeah, I listened to like the first 10% of the first half of the album.
So you listened to 5% of the album?
Yeah, but more specifically, I listened to 10% of half of it. Because if I said I listened to 5% of it, that could mean I just listened to the first song of a 20-song album.
Synonymous.
What do you mean?
5% of the album and 10% of half of the album.
Well,
are
yeah,
the
yeah.
Same thing.
Well, yes, but I'm being more specific.
Okay.
Because if I listen to 10% of half of it, that suggests I listened to more than just the first song. Hey, everybody here. Up next, Newhouse.
Yeah, I heard it was already
Afternoon.
on.
Yeah, I had to like reset their camera, and they had to like turn the camera on and off and everything, and somehow it ended up putting them in the wrapper, and that was cool. But it was just like an empty table, so we're good.
Do you think there's 7 songs about countries? There's Living in America.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably more than 7 songs about America. Born in the USA, Surf in USA.
Isn't there Africa is a song?
Yeah. America the Beautiful. God Bless
Down
America.
Under.
Yeah, I mean, I just named. I mean, the Star Spangled Banner is technically.
Don't stop listening to ESPN Radio and watching on Q Sports Talk because Newhouse Afternoons coming up, Cody Mack Show, and then Brian Higgins. Time to vote on the artist of the day.
You didn't play Landslide today.
It's not on Rumors.
Oh, gotcha. All right, gotcha. That makes sense.
Do you think I was just doing that?
I thought you were doing it to spite me, yes.
Man, get over yourself.
No,
Rumors.
We'll play Landslide tomorrow before the Duke game. Ooh, ow, E.
Paul Simon. Lady Gaga.
She's got a new song out.
Songs about countries or continents, if you want. I guess.
Where did that come from?
In 1983, there was a continental shift at the number 1 spot on the Billboard charts as Africa replaced Down Under.
Whoever wrote that little song fax blurb is a funny guy or gal.
And one more. How about the New Kids on the Block? New Kids, songs about countries or continents. Lady Gaga, Paul Simon. I know Lady Gaga is your wife's friend. So
She is.
Do like national anthems qualify? Like they're technically about countries and their songs.
I like these topics that are kind of like off the board, outside the box.
What if we just played random national anthems? That would actually be funny. Here is Bolivia.
I mean, that would kind of be great. On just Duke game day, we're just bumping like the I don't know, Taiwanese national anthem. Like, we could do this.
I want to give you extra work. I'm going to do the songs about countries.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like a vibe. Just don't, like, be a weenie and pick 7 songs about America.
No, I'm not. Africa is definitely on there. Any excuse to play Africa.
Not cities, though, right? So, like, London Bridge doesn't work.
No, it would have to be England Bridge.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm doing
You've
the
got some
country's
extra work
continents,
tonight.
yeah.
Some extra homework.
I don't think it's going to be that hard. So, all right.
I don't think
it's going to be a sweep right there. Songs about countries or continents.
There's
tomorrow.
a song called France by Baby Keem, but it doesn't really have much to do with France.
But it would count.
Is that a rapper?
Yeah. According to the song, he flew out to France and they go crazy when he lands.
Gotcha.
France the rapper?
That was...
Jordan laughed. You're not cool enough to get that one.
Chance the Rapper. I got it. I just didn't laugh because I didn't think it was that funny.
You're not funny.
All right. I'm not fun. Right. We've established this.
Whoa! I'm out.
We are out of time. Newhouse Afternoon is coming up next. We'll see everybody noon tomorrow.